Dear students, good morning to everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the problem on simple vapor compression refrigeration with superheating. Let me discuss about the problem. Listen, a refrigeration machine using R2 as a refrigerant operates between the pressure limits of say it is called as a 2.5 bar and 9 bar. They can operate between the pressure limits of 2.5 bar and 9 bar. The compression is isentropic. There is a no undercooling. So other name of undercooling we can write there is nothing but the subcooling in condenser. The vapor is dry and saturation condition at beginning of the compression. So it is saturated at the beginning of the compression. So the vapor entered into the compressor. It is a dry saturated state. The next one you are going to find estimate the theoretical COP. If the actual COP is equal to 0.65% of theoretical COP, calculate the net cooling produced per hour. The refrigerant flow is 5 kg per minute. Here in the table, the properties of refrigerants are given. That is in the terms of pressure, temperature, enthalpy, entropy. Entropy they are given only for the vapor only. Okay. Okay. After viewing the problem, the next you are going to draw the pH and TS chart of the particular problem. So first you write the simple vapor, draw a simple vapor compression system. So this is nothing but first you draw, this is nothing but, so that is nothing but the condenser. The next one we can say it is nothing but, that is nothing but say compressor. The next one is, that is the evaporator. Then next one you are having expansion valve, which is nothing but expansion valve. After that, you are going to nominate the points of the respective points. Let us assume the air entered into the compressor is nothing but one, other air, the vapor entered the compressor is one, or the vapor leaving the refrigerator evaporator is a one. Then vapor leaving the compressor is two, which is inlet of condenser. Then it is a point number three, the liquid that leaving from the condenser. Then fourth one, that is after the expansion valve, we can say it is nothing but the fourth one. Here in the evaporator, the heat is absorbed. In the evaporator, the heat that is absorbed from the medium. In the condenser, we can liberate the heat to the say atmosphere. Then in the compressor, we are given some amount of work output. So this is a representation of this simple vapor compression system. Here the refrigerant flowing inside the refrigerant circuit is nothing but the flowing into the refrigerant circuit is nothing but that is a R12. That is a refrigerant namely R12. Then the mass is 5 kilogram per minute. Okay. Then after the data, you are going to draw the PV and TS diagram. Okay. So first you draw that is called as a PV diagram. First one you can draw that is a PV diagram. The pH diagram, not a PV pH diagram. The next one is that is a TS diagram. So these two diagrams are necessary to find out the properties of the system. Before that, this is nothing but this area is nothing but it is called as a high pressure side, HP side. Then below which is nothing but the low pressure side. The high pressure side pressure is about which is equal to 9 bar. The high pressure side pressure is a 9 bar. Low pressure side is nothing but that is called as a 2.5 bar. So in a PV diagram, we are having a saturation curve like this. In TS diagram, we are having a saturation curve like this. Okay, listen. Next, you draw the point. You have a draw the two pressure lines. So one is nothing but there is nothing but that pressure line is nothing but that is called as a 9 bar pressure line. Then next you draw the one pressure line, which pressure line is nothing but 2.5 bar pressure line. Okay. Then here also having a two pressure lines in the TS diagram. So this pressure line is nothing but say it is called as a 9 bar. That is 9 bar pressure line. We are having a two next pressure line with this pressure line is nothing but that is called as a 2.5 bar in the TS diagram. After the drawing the saturation curve and the pressure line, you locate the points 1, 2, 3, 4. How you located the point 1? So from the diagram, sorry, from the question, the condition given the vapor is dry, saturated condition at the beginning of the compression. So at the beginning of compression, what is the point number provided for the beginning of compression? This is the point number 1. So point number 1, so which is equal to saturated, dry saturated vapor. That is saturated vapor entry to the compression. This is the point number 1. Okay, in both the diagrams. So immediately you locate the point number 2. How you can locate the point number 2? If it is the vapor entered into the compressor is saturated, definitely the vapor leaving the compressor must be in which phase? Which state?
Predator.
Superheated. So definitely point number 2 lies in the superheated region. So this is the point number 2. So draw the line, that is the 1, 2. Here also draw the line 1, 2. How we can draw the line 2? Because 1 to the process 1 to 2 is the
Isentropic.
process. So process 1 to 2, which is equal, we can say that is called as a isentropic compression. So we can write S1 is equal to S2. So that here you draw a straight line that is called as a 2. Okay, well, so from the drawing you can note that is called as a S1 is equal to S2. Okay, then point number 2, then again you draw the respected line, that is after the compression it is saturated, listen, it is saturated, it is cooled and became a saturated vapor and then cooled up to, we can say it is nothing but the saturated liquid. So point number 3 lies here. Point number 3 lies here. So after the point number, here also the point number 3 that is lies here. That is the point number 3. Okay, point number 3. So next you locate the point number 4. How you locate the point number 4? So process 3 to 4 is equal to what? So process 3 to isenthalpic expansion. So that is called as isenthalpic expansion. That is H3 is equal to H4. Then you draw the straight line. That is isenthalpic expansion. This is the point number 4. Then complete the cycle. So 1 to compression, 2, 3 that is condensation, 3 to 4 that is expansion. Then 4 to is nothing but that is a constant pressure heat addition. Okay. Here also point number 3. Then point number after point number 3 have the point number 4 that is called as isenthalpic expansion. Then you completed the cycle. So this drawing is necessary for proper understanding as well as this helps to solve the problem in an easy way. Okay. Then here you can note the point here. That is P2 equal to, how we can write that is called as a P2 equal to P3. Here P4 equal to what? That is a P1. So here you write the pressure in the pressure table. You have write this is equal to P2 equal to P3. Here also we can write that is a P1 is equal to P4. So this temperature, you know the saturation temperature. What is the saturation temperature? 36 line that is located here. Okay, this is the saturation temperature line. This is also on saturation temperature line. Before you draw the saturation temperature line, you put the point which is equal to 2 dash here. This point is nothing but the 2 dash. Here also you can write there is nothing but the 2 dash, this point. So here you can write that is a T3 is equal to, that is a T2 dash. So which is equal to, which is equal to, that is how much? 36 here. That is T2 is T2 dash equal to T3, which is equal to 36 degrees Celsius. Here also you can write there is a T4 equal to, you can write T1. So which is equal to T4 equal to T1. Okay. This is the 2 dash, this is the 2 dash. Don't forget to put the 2 dash in a case of superheating. Then next you're going to solve the problem. So first they are going to ask you estimate a theoretical COP. Then how you find the theoretical COP? What is the formula to find the theoretical COP? So what is the formula? So normally COP is equal to ratio of that is called as a refrigeration effect divided by that is called as a work done. So normally refrigeration where we get the refrigeration effect. So in a diagram where we get the refrigeration effect. 4 to 1. In a case of evaporator, we are getting the refrigeration effect. In a work done, it is taken place in the process 1 to 2. Here we can put the line here. This is nothing but there is a work done. Here you can take a heat from a system. Here you can leave the heat to the system. So here it is nothing but the Q. Otherwise we can write that is called as a refrigeration effect happen here. So this is nothing but work done. Okay. So which can be written as that is equal to H1 minus H4 divided by work done, which is equal to H2 minus H1. So then from the formula H1 minus H4 divided by H2 minus H1, you are going to find the point H1, H2, H3, H4. So first you are going to find the point H1. So how we find the point H1? So one is normally located at which place? So one is normally located at which place?
At saturated vapor curve, sir.
Saturated vapor curve at a pressure of how much? P4 equal to P1, 2.5. So at a 2.5 pressure, it located in the saturated curve, that is a vapor curve. So what is the value here? So we can write, so H1 equal to Hg at the pressure of, say, that is called as a 2.5 bar. So you can note that is a H1 is equal to how much? So H1 is equal to 184.5 kilojoule. So 184.5 kilojoule per kilogram. Okay. Then next you are going to find H2. How you can find the H2? So normally that is called as a H2. So H2 is located at which region? Located, that is called as a
Superheated,
superheated
sir.
region. Superheated region. Okay. Located at a superheated region. Okay, listen. Then located at a superheated region. Listen, H2 that is normally located at a superheated region. In a table, the superheated value is not given. So how we can calculate the superheated value? So superheated value, that is H2 superheated region. So H2 is equal to normally H2 dash plus H2 dash plus Cp into, that is T superheated minus T saturated. Already I told. So this is the 2 dash we already know from the table, because it is 2 dash is located in the saturated region. Saturated therefore called a pressure of, say, 36, pressure of 9 bar and temperature of 36 degrees Celsius. You already know that is called as a H2 dash. This is a H2 dash. Okay. This is, you can write, there is nothing but the H2 dash. From that you are going to calculate the H2. So how we can calculate it? It is nothing but the point number 2. So we can written as H2 dash H2 is equal to H2 dash, the H2 dash plus, this is the value we are going to find. So it is nothing but, we can say it is nothing but degree of superheat. So you can write this is nothing but, which is equal to degree of superheat. That is the formula here. So H2 is equal to Cp into T superheated minus 2 saturated. This we can written as, that is called as a degree of superheat. Okay. So similarly, this formula can be expanded, that is H2 dash plus Cp into T superheated can be written as T2, then T saturated can be written as, that is called as a T2 dash. Refrigerant that is given in a problem. So sorry, the Cp value is not given. From the refrigeration table, we are going to take a Cp, that Cp value that may be around, which is equal to Cp is equal to 0.64 kilojoule per kilogram Kelvin. That is Cp of a refrigerant R12. Okay. So this is a formula to find out the H2. Here again, that is a H2 is equal to, already we have the H2 dash from the table, that is equal to 201.8. Here 201.8 plus Cp, that is value is equal to 0.64. Already I told, because the refrigeration specific heat of refrigerant R12 is equal to 0.64 kilojoule per kilogram Kelvin. You write there is 0.0 kilojoule per kilogram. T2 we don't know, but T2 dash we know that is T2 dash is equal to, that is equal to 36 degrees Celsius, so which is equal to around, that is a 317 Kelvin. Okay.
So 309, sir. 309, sir.
309.
309. So which is equal to 309 Kelvin. Okay. Then there is a 309 Kelvin. Okay. From that above equation, you are going to find T2 or H2. So which one you are going to first one? So H2 you don't know, T2 you don't know. Then again, you are going to find, okay, going to find T2 first. How we can find T2 first? From the diagram, how we can find T2 first? Because this is the point number 2, how we find the T2 first?
Sir, by comparing the entropy and writing
Entropy.
the enthalpy.
Entropy, then from the equation you already know the S1 is equal to S2, because in a process there is a 1 to 2, there is called as isentropic expansion, as an isentropic compression. Okay. S1 we already know from the table. So S2, how we can write S2? So S2 is equal to S2 dash plus the degree of superheat. Again you write the degree is called as the degree of superheat. Okay. Well, then S1, this equation can be written as S1 plus S2 dash, S2 dash plus degree of superheat, that can be written by a formula, that is Cp in a log of base C write T2 divided by that is called as a T2 dash. This is a formula to find the superheat for entropy, but here it is the formula to find the superheat for enthalpy. So S1 you are from the table you are going to take the formula. So normally S1 there is a point number 1, the entropy of vapor because it is located at a saturated curve. So the value is equal to 0.7001, not a 1, 9, that is a 0.7001. So here 0.6836. You substitute the appropriate values here. S1 is equal to 0.7001 equal to S2 dash which is equal to 0.6836 plus 0.64, then log of base E T2 you all don't know T2 dash which is equal to say it is nothing but how much, that is equal to 309 Kelvin. From the above equation we have all the value, we doesn't know the value of T2 only. So what about the value of T2? The value of T2 that maybe comes around, so which is equal to 317 Kelvin. T2 that may be around 317 Kelvin. The next one you are going to substitute the T2. Then you are going to substitute the T2 in H2 equation. Okay, I substitute T2 in the H2 equation. So after substitute H2 is equal to 201.8 plus 0.64 into that is 317 minus 309. After substitution we are getting the value that H2 may be around 206.92 kilojoule per kilogram. When you find H1, then you H2. Then next you are going to find H3. How you can find the H3? So where 3 is located? Where 3 is located?
Sir, at saturated liquid curve, sir.
Saturated liquid curve at a pressure of how much?
9 bar, sir.
9 bar, sir.
9 bar. So at a 9 bar saturated liquid F line. So this is the value. This value is nothing but that is called as a H3. So you can write that is H3 is equal to HF3 is equal to how much value that you got from the table, it is equal to 70.55 kilojoule per kilogram. You find H3 and next one you are going to find H4. Next you are going to find H4. How you can find H4?
Sir, by enthalpy diagram H4 equal to H3.
So HF3 is equal to say that is H4 from the ice enthalpy gauge diagram is because 3 to 4 is nothing but the ice enthalpy expansion. So you write that is H4 is equal to HF3 is equal to 70.55 kilojoule per kilogram. You find H1, H2, H3, H4. The next you are going to find that is next to go and find that is called as the theoretical COP. Then COP theoretical. So already you know the formula that is H1 minus H4 divided by H2 minus H1, that is refrigeration effect divided by work done. H3 value you know how much? That is equal to 1, just wait.
184.5, sir.
184.5 minus of 70.55 divided by H2 already you find. So which is equal to 206.92 minus 184.5. So from that you are going to find that is a COP that is theoretical. So which is equal to the value is equal to that is a 5.083 you got. 5.083. Next one you are going to find actual COP. So you can find the actual COP with the help of a relation that is 0.65% of theoretical COP. Then you can write that is COP actual is equal to 0.65 of into COP that is called as a theoretical. So we can find that is a COP actual is equal to how much? That is equal to 3.304. You find theoretical actual COP. Then next in the problem, after finding that, what they are going to ask, calculate the net cooling effect produced per hour. The refrigerant flow is 5 kg per minute. The refrigerant flow is 5 kg per minute. Okay, listen. Then how you calculated the net refrigeration effect. Okay, listen. Then before you're going to calculate the net refrigeration effect, you are going to calculate the compressor power. Okay, are going to calculate the that is called as a compressor power. So compressor which lies in the which region? Compressor which lies in the region that is called as a 1 to 2. This is called as a compression. Right, that is equal to compressor power, that is a work done is equal to H2 minus H1. So by multiplying mass flow rate, we can get the power in terms of kilowatt. So here the mass flow rate of refrigerant is equal to 5 kilogram per minute. You better convert it into second. That is 5 divided by 60 into H2. You are not, that is a 206.9 minus that is H1 184.5. You are getting the work input to the compressor, that is W, which may be equal to 1.868. That is called as a kilowatt. 1.868 kilowatt. That is called as the actual compressor work that you derived. Okay. Then next you are going to find that is called as a COP actual equal to that is called as a net refrigeration effect. That is the question. That is the data are going to find net refrigeration effect divided by that is called as a work done. We can written as that is a net refrigeration effect divided by we can write that is called as a there is a compressor power. So already you find the COP actual that from the data which is equal to 3.304 equal to net refrigeration effect divided by compressor power that you already find, which is equal to that is equal to 1.868 kilowatt, which is equal to 1.868 kilowatt. From the data you find that is a net refrigeration effect which is equal to 6.17 kilowatt. Net refrigeration effect equal to 6.17 kilowatt. That is the data asked here. But in the problem, there we ask calculate the net cooling effect or net refrigeration produced per hour. They are going to ask the per hour. How you calculate the per hour? So simply you calculate a per hour means so it is equal to 6.17 kilowatt can be written as that is called as a kilojoule per second. Then if you are asking a per hour, there is a 6.17 kilojoule divided by 1 second is equal to how much hour? 1 second is equal to simply written as there is a 1 second is equal to 1 by 3 to 3600 another. That is hour. It can be written as that is nothing but the hour. Just wait. There is a 3000 hour. Otherwise, you can written as 1 hour is equal to 3600 second. So 1 by 3600 hour HR. So simply you can written as there is divided by 1 by 3600. So from after the substitution, the net refrigeration effect per hour is equal to 6.17 into 3600 because this 3600 goes to numerator side 3600. So which is equal to 22.21 kilojoule. So that is refrigeration effect is equal to 22.21 kilojoule. Otherwise, we can be written in terms of kilowatt, so which is equal to 6.17 kilowatt. So apart from that, now I am going to ask the one question. You are going to calculate the net refrigeration effect in terms of ton of refrigeration. How you can calculate ton of refrigeration? How you can calculate the ton of refrigeration from the value?
Sir, by dividing 1000, sir, by converting kilogram into.
No, there is not. This is not is that TON and ton because I asked that here in ton of refrigerant, unit of refrigeration is ton. So listen, from the previous class I told there is a 1 ton of refrigeration is equal to how much? There is a 210 kilojoule per minute. You are going to substitute that particular formula. Here, the refrigeration effect you obtained in terms of kilowatt is equal to, so it is equal to 6.17 kilowatt. Better you can be converted into second, that is 6.17 into kilowatt, that is written as kilojoule per second. This can be written as, that is a 6.17 kilojoule. It can be written that is 1 second is equal to how much? 1 by 60, that is a minute. 1 by 60 minute. So better you have, that is a 6.17 into 60 kilojoule per minute. What about the value? What about the value you get? That is 6.17 into 60. Refrigeration effect is equal to almost 360 something.
370.
370.2, sir.
370.2 kilojoule per minute. You get the refrigeration effect which is equal to 370 kilojoule per minute. Then how much TR you obtained? How much cooling effect that you obtained in ton of refrigeration? That is TR. Ton of refrigeration can be represented by means of TR. How much TR obtained? So from the formula, 1 TR is equal to, so 1 TR is equal to 210 kilojoule per minute. So you get the refrigeration effect of 370.2 kilojoule per minute. So how much TR you needed? Here is a question mark. So it can be calculated by
Sir, 370.2 divided by 210.
370.2 into cross multiply into 1 divided by, that is 210. So that much of TR you are getting. How much value you got?
Sir, 1.762.
1.7628, sir.
1.762 TR. So the cooling effect may be 1.762 TR, 370.2 kilojoule per minute, 6.17 kilowatt, 22.21 kilojoule. Yeah, kilojoule per hour. I forgot to mention, it is nothing but per hour. Okay, you understand about the how the units of refrigeration is categorized with the help of kilojoule per minute, kilojoule per second, or kilojoule per hour, or kilowatt. Okay.